a voice that needs to echo. Let it rise, let it shine. Since 95.
Hi, and welcome to Women's Radio 2. Here is where we're inviting men as well as women in the cultural creative group. And if you're here, you're likely a cultural creative. And they have a certain set of values that are very important to them. One is the ability to communicate and with other people. And that's what we're doing here. And in Women's Radio 2, we're encouraging men and women to come together at this point to co-create and solve some of the issues that are really prevalent in the universe today, in our country, in the world. And we are trying to give everyone now a much larger voice, the people who are trying to help other people and encourage other people. Well, I have as my guest today someone who heard that message loud and clear and did something very, very special. He created music just for us. And you heard just a bit of that coming in, and you're going to hear more. And also, we're going to have a full-length version that you can listen to anytime you want at the bottom of the screen. So I'd like to introduce once again my now good friend, Mike Williams. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Pat. It's great to be on.
Well, it's great to have you. And I just was flabbergasted when you told me that you had created a song for women's radio. And so why did you do that?
Well, you know my background being a combat medic and coming back from some very, very intense experiences. I played music all my life. It's a way that I unpack, it's a way that I reflect, and it's a way that I can celebrate these things around me. Like your voice is heard, women's radio. And it took me back to my mom that, my gosh, she's in heaven, but God, I still love her so much. And I watched her pretty much, well, I got two brothers and three sisters. So, that it was a very interactive environment.
I guess so.
And I would always see her just pour her heart out. And more importantly, it's the expertise and just her wide understanding of all these different things. And her voice wasn't heard. As I went through the military, I was in special operations, so a very male-dominant environment. And we worked with some female soldiers, military personnel that were exceptionally talented. And I saw the same thing where their voice it was being squelched. And this is where you come in. It's something where it's been bothering me since I was a kid, right? And all of a sudden I meet you and what you're doing, and I'm like, the best thing I could possibly do is give you some music that I can put together and celebrate everything you're working on.
Well, that is music to my ears, needless to say, and I couldn't be more delighted. And I think it's proof that the time that we've spent reaching out and doing the work we've done has not gone to waste. In fact, I think in every way things are getting bigger at this point. I think it's time that people come together, work together, help each other, because we certainly can't depend on a lot of other people these days.
Things are changing. Yep.
Yeah, things are changing rapidly. So, what else can you tell us about the music and or the other music that you're producing? Also, you produce this wonderful, wonderful piece for In Veteran Debt, and we've had you on previously to talk about that. And so what's happening with all the music right now?
This is something I'm so excited about, because writing music for as long as I have. So I'm only 21, but I've actually been writing music for 50 years. Okay. So take that for what it's worth. It comes down to this: is there's times where I spend so much on what I think is going to be the best song I've ever written, and I share it with other people and I get and then other times you get the exact opposite. But when things line up and what you hear and what other people hear and it lines up, it's like winning the lottery. And so that's why with
It is.
In Veteran Debt, the song I did is The Price We Paid. And that was really just celebrating Michael Thorne, who is a veteran that really he got shafted by debt, and Inventor debt helped him out. And looking at how we can all work together and really help out veterans and first responders and their families.
Right.
That this is important. And so that's where The Price We Paid came from. And your song was just reflecting back on how long you've been doing this, and you're getting the voices heard, which is something I hadn't seen for most of my military career, going back to my childhood.
Well, thank you very much. And it wasn't original. I was actually given this as a mission, and as it were, and I feel really strongly about it. And obviously, that's true. It's been going on for, would you believe, 28 years? 28
Yeah,
years. We were the first site to stream for women. We're probably the longest continually streaming site, because we were one of the original streaming sites on the web. In fact, when we got on the web, Mike, it was a bulletin board service. It wasn't even the web. Didn't even have
back in
a
the
GUI
day.
interface back then, you know. So, and then I knew streaming was coming, but it took a while, and I kept my ear to the ground. I fortunately lived very close to Silicon Valley at the time, so I could meet and talk with people who are in the industry. And I just kept listening for that time to come. And when it came, then we met the right people, fortunately, God's will, I'm sure. And we put together AudioAcrobat, which is a tool that allows you to produce and to stream in audio and video. And it has a lot of ways to produce. It's an amazing product. And then now we're about to upgrade it, as it were, and do some extraordinary new things. I'm very, very excited about that too. So we'll hopefully hear a lot more about that. I mean, not everything has to work, but I trust that we've gotten this far, that things are going in the right direction, and we'll be able to do the things that we can see. And I think that things like having you talk about where your inspiration comes from to do your work is so important. I think all of us need to operate from a point of inspiration, where you're really happy doing what you do, or you get inspired by other people, and that causes you to really get in touch with the gift that you have to give. And definitely, Mike, you have an amazing gift. And I tell you what, when I heard We Paid the Price, um, I got really emotional, because it is a very emotional song. I don't know if you've heard that from other people, but every single time I hear it, I get very emotional.
It's something I'm so glad I'm able to share that. And so 20% of the price we paid is going to go back to end veteran debt. And it's something, being that I'm only 21, I mentioned that, right?
You did, yes.
Yeah. When you finally figure out that if you can just find a place of joy and hold on to it with both your hands.
Amen.
And it took me over 50 years to really get a good understanding that. And this is something that just over the last couple of years, just with everything I've been working on, it's coming together. And I'm just so grateful to be able to share my music with you and with everybody else. And I really do appreciate everything you're doing.
Well, it's our pleasure, and I'm just delighted that I've met you. Of course, you're working with Dr. Jeff Zimmerman. He's another incredible person. I don't think we've had him on yet, but we will. And
Look forward to that.
there's so many people doing extraordinary things that are being of service to the world. And if anybody is listening, watching, we are probably going to start something new called Great Causes, so that we can bring more people to your attention that are reaching out and doing truly extraordinary things to help people across our country, around the world, et cetera, et cetera. So, Mike, I'm just so grateful to have met you. We love the music. We love the music. We love that what you heard was like the message, which is to give women a larger voice, and all of us, so that we can really communicate together and get things done.
I am
Thank
looking
you.
forward to your women's radio too. That's going to be excellent.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. But thank you for being my guest today. Please do come back and bring more wonderful music.
It's my honor. Thank you, Pat, for the time.
Women